Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or if it's your first time, welcome to my channel. My name is Marlene and I talk about eating disorder recovery and everything related to healing the relationship with your own body, with food and with movement. And I actually got a question from one of you guys, and I'm pretty sure this is actually an important topic for everyone. And that is, when do I know that I can start engaging my old social life again, or when it is a time to, still rest enough? So basically, how do I find that line between giving myself time in recovery, but also getting out there again? And of course, this is something that is very, very individual, but I want to share some of my experiences, and I also want to give you some tips on how to know when it is time to maybe start doing a little bit more again, but also how to cope with FOMO, the fear of missing out. So when I was in recovery, the first couple of months, I was really miserable. I was physically not well. I had a lot of water retention. I had a lot of pain. I really struggled with my changing body, and I was ashamed. I was so ashamed to go out there. I was so afraid of people seeing me, judging me, that I would just curl up entirely. And honestly, I think that was needed. The fact that my body was so much in pain and that it was so tired all the time actually showed me that it needed rest. If I would have gotten out there and would have done all those things, my body would have probably not gotten the chance to actually rest and repair itself. After a couple of months, I actually started to do more things again. And there actually was a phase where I think I actually jumped into too quickly, because once I started to do more things again, it kind of gave me a distraction from my eating disorder. And so I was like, I don't want to think about it anymore. I don't want to think about my body anymore. I just want to have distractions. And so there was a time where I would engage in all those things and then feel completely tired and fatigued afterwards. Up to a point where I actually thought I had long COVID, because I also had COVID before that summer. And even though I'm not sure if that was the case or not, I now think that maybe I had overdone it already. So the thing is, eating disorder recovery can be a long and very, very exhausting process. And I'm pretty sure if you are in eating disorder recovery, you know that there's definitely fun things about it and great things about it, and things will continue to get better. But you also know how hard it is. If you are in recovery from an eating disorder that made you lose weight, you might have to deal with bodily changes. Your body might react in a different way. Also, a little disclaimer, please always see a doctor. This is something I really like to point out, because I'm not a medical professional and the advice I give is about recovery overall, but please make sure that you're also in a safe place. So seeing a doctor is actually crucial in eating disorder recovery. But back to the topic. You might have to deal with, you challenge maybe your fear foods, you challenge the fear of weight gain, you challenge comments, you might actually turn around your whole life. A lot of people with eating disorders have their ED routines and things they are doing every day. And when you start recovery, you have to change those routines. So for a lot of people, that actually means changing their whole life, changing their whole view, and challenging what they thought is right for so long. And that is exhausting. That is one of the reasons why you might feel so tired in eating disorder recovery. And that can be frustrating. I remember thinking, I'm eating more, I'm resting more, I should have more energy, but I do have less energy. What am I doing wrong? And the answer is nothing. I was just not aware of the fact how much recovery took from my body, in a good way, because that was needed after years and years of undereating and hustling. But the thing is, it can be extremely helpful to get out there, to maybe see friends, to get your head a little bit free from the recovery, and to also see that there's other things out there that don't have to do with your recovery, with your eating disorder, with your body, or with food. To me, it was super, super helpful to actually surround myself with people who had a good relationship to food. We would grab food and nobody would talk about it afterwards. They would actually just eat their food and continue going on with their day. And while that helped me a lot to also change my view on my food intake and everything that had to do with it, it sometimes was getting to a point where I would go out so much and do so much that I kind of tried to forget about my recovery. And again, there's nothing wrong with getting your head free and distracting yourself a little bit here and there, but I still had to continue to work on my recovery. on all those belief systems, on all those beliefs that came up, on maybe emotions that came up that I didn't give the space before and that I kind of suppressed with my eating disorder. Eating disorder recovery is so multifunctional, and there's so many things that play a role. Gaining weight, challenging fear food is just one part of it. So if you feel like you might jump into your social life, or you might jump into distraction a little bit too early, listen to that feeling, because there's a reason why you're questioning that. I would actually say, if you're questioning if you're doing too much, take a step back. Now we're gonna go to the fear of missing out, because that is something I am so familiar with. I'm still a person who has a lot of fear of missing out, regardless of my recovery or not. And when I was in recovery, that was even a bigger case. On the one hand, it would allow me to, do some of the things I hadn't done with my friends in years, which was great. But then on the days where I didn't really have the energy, it was so hard for me to say no. But at the same time, that was a great practice, because setting boundaries and also listening to your body is crucial and is such a big part of eating disorder recovery. In fact, when I started to set boundaries around me and to the people around me, that was when my eating disorder recovery took a big turn. And I would have never thought that before. Whenever somebody told me, oh, you have to learn to set boundaries, I was like, no, I don't. Why would that be important? But once I started setting boundaries, I kind of felt like in control. I didn't need my body anymore to show people that, I didn't want to have a certain conversation or that I was not feeling great. I could use my words. And that is the same thing with, fear of missing out. It is okay to say no to events sometimes. And if the feeling comes up of, oh, maybe I'm missing out on something, think about how you would feel to be in that situation when you are fatigued. Let's say you have a day where you feel like tired and you know that you need to rest, or maybe you want to journal, maybe you want to work on your recovery, maybe your coach gave you some exercises, whatever it is, and somebody invites you to an event. And you think about if you want to go or not. And actually your only reason is, I have the fear of missing out. That's the only reason to go. Imagine yourself in that situation, being fatigued, being tired, having your brain full with all those thoughts of, things you actually wanted to do. You would not be able to enjoy that. And I think this is like a good key point to know if you want to go or not. There will be days where you say no to something and then maybe you regret it later. There will also be days where you say yes to something and then you regret that you went. But I think over time you will find your balance. Especially in the beginning of eating disorder recovery, it can be so important to take more time for yourself. And if you have friends that really understand and support you, maybe you can also find a compromise. Maybe they can come to your place and you have a little tea night, or you watch a movie together and you don't have to necessarily go out. If you are surrounded by people who have to go out all the time or who make you even feel bad about not coming with them, you might even want to consider looking for new people to surround yourself with. And of course, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but I'm trying to get you to the point where you can find your own balance and your own normal. So again, if you question if that would be too much and you kind of have a gut feeling already, listen to it. Your recovery should always come first. There's a whole life out there waiting for you, and you still have so much time. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how long you spend with your recovery or with your eating disorder. There's still so much time, but you can only enjoy those things entirely if you are working on your mental health. And there will come a point where you are fully recovered and you will be able to enjoy all those things. Or sometimes you also just want to stay at home. I'm fully recovered, I'm not an old person, and yet I have those nights where I'm like, I just want to stay home. I just want to cuddle up in my bed with my cat or my dog. I just want to watch a movie, maybe I want to order pizza. And yes, on some days I have the fear of missing out, but then I just imagine myself being in that situation or sitting with my pizza on the couch, and then it doesn't seem so bad anymore. I really hope that video answered your question and that it helped you. And again, if you ever have any other questions, please let me know. I'm so happy to cover your requests. And I'm really, really happy that you guys are watching my videos. If you like this video, as always, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you didn't have already. And otherwise, I will see you in the next one.